Very good day, everybody. My name is Vasanth. I am a NEET faculty. I have been doing this work for almost 9+ years, and I train very studious NEET aspirants who wants to achieve very good in life. And today we are going to continue with another chapter, which will be like our environment. And there is another segment of the initial video which I will be prepared. If you have not watched that, I would suggest you to watch it. And if you have already watched it, we are going to cover the other content which will be related to whatever we have learned in the previous video. Okay? So we can quickly get into the video. So just allow me a few seconds. So I hope everybody is able to view the screen properly and everything is visible. So now, today, we are going to cover a few of the topics in this chapter again. So which involve ecological pyramid and then energy transfer in the food chain and biological magnification or biomagnification, greenhouse effect, and then global warming. When you talk about ecological pyramid, there are different types. So we are going to learn all of them. Okay, how the energy transfer in the food chain literally takes place, and what is biological magnification and the greenhouse effect and global warming. So let's quickly get into the video. Okay. So ecological pyramid is just a graphical representation, okay, which is a pyramidal structure or graphical representation, which shows different things or different data. So let's say, for an example, there are different types of ecological pyramid. So this is a pyramid of numbers. Pyramid of numbers, that should be one. The second one would be pyramid of biomass. Okay, and there could be pyramid of productivity. And it could be pyramid of energy as well, energy transfer, or it could be anything. Okay. These are some of the ecological pyramids that we are going to learn in detail. So let's quickly get into the thing. Okay. So we have studied there are different segments of the environment itself. So which involve abiotic and biotic factors. In the biotic factor, we involve producers, consumers, and decomposers. Okay, the COM composers. So in this case, consumers can be many types. So primary, secondary, and tertiary. So in this case, we are going to have them placed on number basis, biomass basis, productivity basis, and energy transfer basis as well. So let's get into the next slide, okay, so that we can study a little more. So here in this picture, so you can see how the organisms are arranged with respect to number. Let's say, for an example, the organism here, we can replace this, we can actually give a representation of grass. And for primary consumer, we can take as grass, HOPPER, grasshopper. And then grasshopper will be eaten by frog. Okay, and the frog would be eaten by snake. See here. So the grasshopper, okay, would be like, let's say in hundreds. Okay, then the grass would be in 10,000s. Okay, and to eat these 100 grasshoppers, there will be somewhere around 20 frogs. So to actually feed upon, or the upper group will be having somewhere around 2 snakes. We'll assume 2 snakes. So if you see the number of individual with respect to the the pyramid, okay, they are arranged in the pyramid. So they are upright. So they are upright. So when they are arranged in the with respect to number of individuals, so the number of grass plant is more compared to the grasshoppers, and their grasshoppers are more compared to frog, and frogs are more compared to snakes. So this is the number of individuals. So the ecological pyramid based on the number of individuals. So this is how it is usually happening. But there are possibilities where there will be an inverted pyramid. That is also possible. Okay, in this case, it will be only one tree. Okay, in that tree there could be more insects, and to actually have these insects eaten, you can have more birds. So likewise, there are ecological pyramid which is also inverted. So this is, both of them are based on numbers. So one which we saw in the first case, the snake, frog, grasshopper, and grouse, is an upright pyramid, and this is a inverted pyramid. So now let's go to the ecological pyramid of biomass. So when you talk about the same example, grass or trees or flowers and plants, which is of with respect to biomass, the organic material that the organism actually possesses will be 2.1 into 10 to the power 7 kilogram per kilometer square. Okay, kg from meter square. So when in a particular area, the amount of producer material, the dry material, dry weight of a material is 2.1 into 10 to the power 7. So that's too much. That's literally too much. So when you talk about the animals, the primary consumers, which are going to be consuming this, which is going to be depending upon the producers, they are comparatively 21,000 kilogram per kilometer square in that area, 1 kilometer square area. And then the primary consumer, which is going the primary consumer, the secondary consumer in this case, which is going to be relying upon the herbivorous organism or the primary consumer over here. So could you can see that they are the biomass will be reduced. So here, when the number of organism is going to be reduced, which we saw in the individual with respect to number, ecological pyramid of number, so it is obvious that the biomass that the organism contain will also be reduced. So that is the principle on the basis of which the ecological pyramid of biomass is built upon. So the pyramid of biomass represents that the dry weight per meter square, dry weight in kilogram per meter square, is actually an upright one. So it keeps on decreasing when we go up the ladder in the tropic level. So each level is called a tropic level. Tropic level of producers, tropic level of herbivores or primary consumer, tropic level of secondary consumer, a tropic level of tertiary consumer. So these are the different tropic levels. So when we go up the ladder in the different tropic levels, the number decreased in number-based ecological pyramid, and the biomass also decreases because the number of individual decreases. So that constitutes the ecological pyramid of biomass. So even this has a different ecological pyramid of inverted pyramid. So this is all these things you'll be studying only in 12th standard under ecology unit. So after studying about ecological pyramid of biomass, you need to understand how the energy is being transferred from one person to another person. So you need to understand this process over here. So there is something called a 10% law. Let's say we see this is energy pyramid. In this over here, you can see the amount of energy that is used up by the producer, and they have allowed the entry of a considerable amount of energy into the system. So let's assume that is 100%, and whatever energy that is actually after it is lost into form of heat and then used up for the producers to survive. So when the primary consumer consumes the producer, after loss of energy in the form of body heat and everything by both the organism, and then most of the energy will be used up by the primary consumer to help them function or perform their function. So only 10% of whatever they eat will be stored or transferred into energy into the next tropic level. So in every tropic level, the amount of energy is actually maintained as 10% of the previous previous tropic level. So this liberation literally makes the energy consumption, the energy requirement is more, because when it comes to the topmost tropic level, so it becomes more. The requirement is very, very high. So this is why. So when you see the energy transfer to next tropic level, when it goes beyond the 4th tropic level, it becomes way minimal, with which an organism cannot survive. So that is one reason why it is usually in a food chain it's only 4 trophic level that is mainly maintained. Just to understand that the overcoming of the energy loss because of 10% law cannot allow the organism to withstand this energy loss and then survive the same place. So that's why the 10% law is still standing. Okay, I hope everybody understood that. So now what happens is whatever material is actually released in the dead matter or the fecal matter or anything like that. So they undergo degradation by the decomposers, and the nutrients will enter into the base of the pyramid again. And again, the sun's energy is utilized, and then the nutrients are also utilized, and then primary producers creates a considerable amount of energy that is determined as 100%. And then once after they are being utilized, the next trophic levels, only 10% of it get transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, this is about energy pyramid. I hope every one of you understood the fact of 10% law, right? So the next one is biological magnification. So what is biological magnification? So let's say for an example, I keep on consuming a particular chemical substance in my body. Okay, at a considerable period of time, at a very big period of time, it is sure that the amount of chemical that I have been consuming that got accumulated into my body have grown into a considerable quantity that is going to have a negative effect in my body, provided if it is going to be a harmful chemical substance. If it is going to be a helpful chemical substance, it is going to give me a good effect on it. So when the accumulation of chemical substances that happens in every trophic level, and the biggest or the highest trophic level organism tends to accumulate more toxic substances than the one that are in the primitive trophic level. So that's what is called biological magnification. In this, you can see the chemical substances which is going to be a part over here in these organisms or producers. So they will be consumed by zooplanktons. So one zooplankton will be consuming a considerable amount of producers or phytoplanktons. So these phytoplanktons will be having 0.1 milligram. Okay. So here again, by constant accumulation, the average amount of toxic substance present in this organism would be 1 milligram. And then after that, over here, it will be 10 milligram. Okay, constantly. It increases. So after 10 milligram, this organism, this fish will be eating these 4 fishes, and this one will eat this many fishes. So it will become 40 milligram. So once after these 2 fishes are fed upon by this thing, so it becomes 80 milligram. So if you see, this literally helps you understand that how when the organisms go to the next trophic level, so when we go to the next trophic level and trophic level, so this literally helps in the accumulation of the chemical substance, which is going to be very harmful for the organism. Okay, and it will have a negative effect reflected on the health of the individual at the highermost trophic level. So it is always that the biomagnification will have a high effect or intense effect only on the organisms at the highermost trophic level, where the concentration of the chemical substances accumulated to the highest trophic level is always the highest. Okay. Highest. So this is actually biological magnification. Let's say for an example, you can see that when a farmer actually uses a lot of fertilizer and pesticide and insecticide and stuff in a water source in this field, and the rain actually falls down, and then the water washes off the every chemical substance that is being used upon the plant, and then it actually seeps into the nearby water source. So this nearby water source actually seeps and then drains into a pond. So in this pond, there'll be algae, planktons, and everything, and then fish, everything. So this farmer goes to the pond and then catches fish, in which the chemical substances that got seeped from the farmland is being accumulated, and then it is higher concentration. He eats 4 fishes, okay, and then he is admitted in the hospital due to Like, he does that for continuously for several months together. And then later he was being diagnosed with some kind of a illness due to accumulation of this chemical substance that he actually placed it in this field that got accumulated in his body due to the process of biomagnification. Because why it has not accumulated in the human being? Because human being is always is more in most of the cases, human being is always in the topmost tropic level of food chain. Okay. Yeah, I hope everybody understood the biomagnification part. Now we're going to talk about greenhouse effect. So greenhouse is a process of where the surface of the earth gets warmer and warmer. Okay, the greenhouse effect is nothing but it is not like a greenhouse which has a greeny effect or something. No, definitely not. It is just that the earth which is actually covered by the greeneries and the water alone. Okay, and it is going to be affected by excess of warmth and heat on the earth itself. So which is going to have an ill effect on the ecosystem and the environment all over the world. Okay, so when this sun's energy, okay, reaches the earth, okay, it gets deflected by the ozone. Okay, ozone. But some of them actually enters into the earth and then later they get deflected. So in the process of reflection, when they have a barrier which is not allowing them to get deflected, instead it gets internally deflected, and that makes the earth so hot. So this radiation, which is going to be absorbed by certain gases only, and this absorption of heat and then retaining it in the atmosphere will make the Earth's atmosphere so hot, and these gases, which actually allows them to allows this process to happen, is called as greenhouse gases. So this absorbs the energy from the heat, temperature, and then it increases the temperature on the surface of the earth. So this process is called greenhouse effect. And this greenhouse effect will be having an ill effect on total ecosystem and spoils the whole ecosystem and the environment of the living organisms. Okay, this is called greenhouse effect. So it is actually made by greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases, we have some of them, which involves carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, CFC, and all these things. So by increasing the the accumulation of such gases, which are called greenhouse gases, on the surface of the atmosphere of the earth itself, is going to cause the warming up of the earth. So that is called global warming. So when due to accumulation of these gases in the atmosphere, so the temperature which is going to be retained instead of being deflected, so that will increase the surface temperature of the earth itself. That's called global warming. Okay, so it is all because of the greenhouse gases and the other pollutants which could also contribute for global warming. Okay, yes. So the global warming, I told you, ozone is actually helping in reflecting the UV rays and then avoiding them from heating the surface of the earth. So there are certain types of gases called chlorofluorocarbon. So this is called fluoro and carbon over here. So Cl is fluoro and fluoro is F and carbon is the carbon molecule. So CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, which actually, okay, upon striking on UV molecule, okay, this CFC breaks into dichloro, again it will say as CFC only. Okay, it forms one chlorine atom from the CFC will be relieved. So this chlorine molecule interact with the ozone. So ozone's chemical formula is O3. So it will be O. Okay, this is the chemical nature. This is the bond formula of ozone. So O, 3 O's. So this O will be bound. One of the O's will be where the chlorine molecule from the CFC will be bound with. So on top of which what happens, there will be a breakage. So the chlorine and the oxygen will be bound together. So which literally make the availability of oxygen in the stratosphere. So once after this oxygen is available and the chlorine will again be attracted, and this literally forms an oxygen molecule O2, and the chlorine will be released again out of it. Okay, this process is called depletion. So this process will result in depletion of ozone layer because of the CFC. This CFC is also a part of greenhouse gases. So because of the UV rays working on CFC and deflecting and depleting ozone layer, which is going to be helpful in blocking the UV rays from the sun. So when this thing is not taken care, it is obvious that the global warming will literally hit the world so hard in much worse conditions, and it will not. There will be no going back. So obviously we'll be losing all the environment and stuff. So that's why we have banned CFC. CFC is banned. It's not. It cannot be used anymore. Okay? That's one of the reasons. Okay. So now, what are the three types of ecological pyramids that you have learned about? One is pyramid of numbers, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. So that we have learned in detail. So what are the, what is global warming and its effects? So global warming is a process of heating up of the Earth's surface because of, heat retained by the greenhouse gases accumulated in the atmosphere. How can this greenhouse gases can be accumulated? By mostly the human activity, usually the fossil fuel burning, and then carbon dioxide, which is also being pumped out so rapidly because of the fossil fuel burning, and then methane is also released. So all these accommodates for the organic greenhouse gases. So these greenhouse gases will be having an effect over the global warming process. So I hope every one of you have understood the whole process of global warming and everything. So looking forward to have more classes with you guys. I hope you have understood everything. So if you have any doubts, please message us, and then post the questions in the forum so that we can be able to address the issues in a swift fashion. And I'm happy that you have joined us in this wonderful video. And to have a very lively class, I would suggest you to join us on lively sessions where you will be having a real life interaction, you'll be having a perfect interactive class, and real time answering will also be there. So you will enjoy the class much more. Thank you so much for your time, and have a nice day.